Right. The king of Maple Story, and also one of the most accomplished Zerg players in the world. It is Rogue in the top left side of the map. He's going to be playing a best of 3 here against GUMIHO in the bottom right side. It is the LiuLi 2024 end of year finals tournament, which of course we're seeing played out in early 2025. It's the 2024 finals played in 2025, and GUMIHO is going to be going for a forward barracks. Now, I believe GUMIHO, is he still representing Cloud9, guys? Let me know in the chat if you guys can let me know if that contract's still going. And is this... Oh, he's going to go double barracks, really? Interesting. Double barracks Reaper versus Rogue. Now, Rogue, I would say, historically, much better career than GUMIHO, but you got to keep in mind, GUMIHO's coming off what? Finals of Yenshiping 2023. And made Serral bleed. Lost 4-2 to Serral, but making Serral bleed in a TVZ, which arguably is GUMIHO's worst matchup as well, was super impressive. He's beaten Maru many times in the last year. Many times in the last year or so, which is crazy because he used to never beat Maru. He's started beating Solar a lot after Solar dominated him for a long time. So, like, we've seen GUMIHO basically overcome a bunch of his nemesis. He made a finals in 2023. And he's now won 2 back-to-back Home Story Cups in 2024, in the second half of 2024. So early 2025, I feel like GUMIHO is still in good form. Very few people would say GUMIHO is the greatest Terran in the world. He's the best. He's the most solid. But he's creative. He's clever. And we're going to see how he does against Dark's 3-hatchery build. Rogue, learning from his buddy Dark, he's going to do the 3-hatchery gasless build, especially on this map where you can kind of wall off this side and just defend the third base angle with queens. This is a really good way to play gasless. So I don't mind it. GUMIHO skipped the scout. A little greedy on his early game, but he's going to come forwards now, see what he can find. Interesting, there's a queen, 6 Zerglings before the second queen. So Rogue playing very safe, despite the map being quite big. Chat says, Rogue has always been won because of his big brain rather than mechanics. Yeah, for sure. Rogue's a fantastic gambler. And we were talking before this series started about how, the rumor is that he just plays Maple Story all day. Apparently it's the grindiest MMO in the world. Not sure if that's true or not. But apparently he just loves playing that and only practices occasionally on the side. So maybe that explains his demeanor when he wins tournaments and he doesn't look particularly excited. He's kind of like, this is just the day job. I just want to get back to grinding. He looks pretty chilled out. But it also makes sense that, like, sometimes he doesn't... You can tell he doesn't really grind with his practice, because sometimes he does make little mistakes where he's just a bit slower than his opponent or something like that. Like, because he's a good macro player and he is pretty fast, but you don't get the feeling that he's practiced the same thing 43,000 times like a Clem. But he's always got a clever gamble up his sleeve. He's always got some clever way of creating some asymmetry in the game, spamming Changeling Nidus, obviously a really cool strategy that he kind of pushed very hard recently. Now that Reaper's trapped, so it does split off from the pack. It's going to be fish food, quite literally. As you can see, there are fish that swim around this map. We're on Abyssal Reef, bottom of the ocean. Don't ask me how the physics works. It just does. Yeah, a couple Zerglings and a drone kill. It's a good start. Going 5 Reaper, so far he's killed 9 Zerglings, 1 Queen, and 1 drone. And a slow Zergling run-by comes in, actually finds the SCV on the 3rd command, and GUMIHO was being so greedy to try and counteract this gasless build. And he's forced like 1 billion Zerglings out of Rogue right now. I mean, Rogue's economy is absolutely not looking lit. It is looking the opposite of lit. It is looking bruised. On the other hand, GUMIHO went double barracks, massively delaying this command center, and that 3rd CC got delayed a little bit. So you gotta look at this and go, well, the trading's amazing for GUMIHO, but GUMIHO did a delayed expansion versus 3 bases getting rushed at the very start. And this is just a reminder for anyone watching StarCraft, because I often see a lot of balance complaints from people who have very bad fundamental understanding of StarCraft, but they'll say things like, look at how much damage he did, and Zerg's still ahead in supply, and in a great spot. This is ridiculous. And I'd say, like, hey, if you build 2 barracks before a command center and you make 5 Reapers really early, versus Zerg, who's not even taken a gas until quite late, rushed 3 hatcheries, you might be in a situation where you're committing really hard to aggression, and they're committing really hard to greed. And in that scenario, is killing 1 drone and 12 Zerglings and a queen really that good? No, it's not. It's good damage, don't get me wrong, but it's not game-ending damage. It's advantage territory. Oh, Rogue with a nice Ling run by. Finds the Marines, gets in around them. They were not creating a solid wall if the Reapers are trying to run home. But a few more Marines do pop out. That's good, though. Trading some Zerglings for 8 Marines, I think, is quite nice. The SCVs are going to run from that. The Reapers, I don't think he sees those extra Zerglings. Now he does. Okay, he's got to pull back. Look at that. Oh, he builds a depot on the right side as well. This is actually really cute. Good pull back for GUMIHO as Rogue has gone for essentially just a Ling Flood. Can't do anything but deny mining with the Lings. And now he goes double Evo, extra gas, and back to drones behind it. He's going to need a quick 4th base to recover from this. I think GUMIHO's got the advantages. You know, being up in workers versus Zerg is good, but those Zerglings could always find good value later on. Reaper's going to kill a few drones. I think he's happy to trade these out. He knows Ling speed is done. Oh, he didn't focus those Reddit point drones. Ah, could have got 2 more drones there. A nice Evo chamber cage for Rogue. Looks like just maybe 1 more drone. No, good pullback. 5 drones go down, 2 Evo chambers, and a big distraction and disruption there. I think that's worth. Those Reapers weren't going to be too useful later on in the game. And Carapace starting nice and early. Terrible Evo chamber placement, guys. If there's ever a tank push down here, those Evo chambers are going to go down fast, but it is what it is. As long as the Marines are solid on the ramp, I think they're fine, or in the choke point of the mineral line. But I don't think you should keep them in the open. I think you should definitely be closer to a choke point. Just because you don't have shields yet. Yeah, you've got stim. +1's actually about to kick in as well. GUMIHO, is he thinking about pushing? Oh, he is. He's already going to 7 barracks. Building tanks and medevacs. He's thinking about pushing, man. He's not building a second eBay or an armory. He's like, I want to kill you, dude. Rogue, he's got a Zergling there. Rogue's Zerglings do not have good vision. You can see a Marine can see a fair bit further. Zergling's going to break the rocks on the right side. Lings break the rocks on the right side. Baneley Nest nowhere near yet. Feels like this could be a very good timing for GUMIHO. Finishes the depot wall. Does leave a few SCVs on the outside, which the Zerglings will punish. But how do you deal with this push? You've got 52 Zerglings, no upgrades on them. +1 Marines are on the front. If you could find the siege tank, that would be amazing. But the tank is back at home on the high ground, which is excellent setup. 4th hatchery gets cancelled. There's still a 5th one finishing. And he's going to get into a nice little area here. Oh, that's so bad for Zerg. The +1 Marines are butchering the Zerg of Rogue. He stims one more time. The Marines holding their own there in that corner. And he is going to lose his army, is GUMIHO. But he saves 8 Marines, trades 2-to-1 effectiveness. He has a 3rd. And he can just go for another wave. He's going to bring his tanks forward as well. Unsieges the tank on the high ground, brings 2 inside a medevac. Wow, 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 wow. Very well played. Could do a tank over here. Tank there and spread and actually siege this base from the low ground. Or we could go for the tanks here we were talking about. Those Evo chambers in prime placement. That being said, +1 Carapace finished. Melee is almost done. So at least Rogue defended those Evo chambers. But this is always the nasty choke point on this map. And you can see the tanks, the Marines are going to have a party. Spore Crawler is going to move over. I quite like that choice. Rogue bringing anything in that he can. The Baneling actually somehow connected. The slow Banelings waddling down the ramp. But Rogue knows he's being checkmated. GUMIHO with some good aggression. I love the way he leans into the aggression against the 3 hatchery, keeps building Reapers, and builds a 3rd command center on location. Defends the Ling Flood. Very clean game 1 for GUMIHO. Alright, guys. We go game 2. It's Rogue at the bottom left side of the map. GUMIHO in the top right. And I think I got that scoreboard wrong, don't I? Yes, I do. There we go. Fix that one up. Now remember, guys, this is like, I think it's GSL style groups. So even though these are only best of 3s, there is always the chance of players rematching later on. Because you have 2 matches, right? It's a 4-man group. You have two matches, then the winners play the winners, the losers play the losers. So the winner of the winners has won 2 matches in a row, and if you get 2 wins, you are through to the next stage, through to the playoffs of the LiuLi finals for the year. And of course, if you lose the losers match, you're knocked out. So 2 wins gets you through, 2 losses knocks you out. So the loser of the winners match and the winner of the losers match, I know that sounds a little confusing, basically fight for the second spot, right? To get the second win. I hate this format just because it got massively overused during the GSL days. And every tournament said GSL's the gold standard of StarCraft. You know, Korea obviously being the epicenter of StarCraft 1 and the highest level StarCraft players in StarCraft 2 for the first 8-9 years. The highest level players, of course, have been out of Europe recently in the last 4 or 5 years. 6 years, 7 years? Oh my god, we're in 2025, 7 years. But there's still more depth in Korea, right? Like, you've got your Max Pax, Clem, Raynor, Serral, but there's a big step between them and Showtime and Lambo and Skillis and the other guys that are, you know, the Triggers. They're all very good, but I'd say there's about 10 plus Koreans before you get to those guys. On average, it goes up and down, you know, but yeah, you've got those 4 elite Europeans, though, who are just so high level, and I think at any point there's at least 1 or 2 of those who are like pretty much always the best players in the world over the last 6 years, which is crazy to say, but it has been the top 2-3 players in the world, I would say, has been a little Europe dominated for quite a while now, even though like Maru's always got the better of Raynor for the most part. I mean, it's mostly Serral. Like, let's give Serral his, but now that Clem's and Raynor, it was mostly Serral, with Raynor having some moments of grandeur and greatness and some really good moments, not just a few as well. We got to give Raynor the respect, right, that he deserves. 2020, 2019 to 2022, he was just god tier player. But now Clem obviously being on that level as well, it is interesting to see. Now, this is a reacted Marine opening, guys. Oh, you're not going to lift the command center? Maybe he lifts it after the orbital's done to try and kill this. It's going to swap the factory over, guys. This is a classic 6 Marine Hellion pressure. Oh, yeah, he does this. He did this build to me. Yeah, he's the only person who does this. Does he build an early armory as well for Hellbats? Dude, when you play GUMIHO, you never know what weird stuff. This is a TVP build order TY used to do. You hit with 6 Marines, and then you swap over, and the 2 Hellions rally in because they're way faster than the Marines. So the Marines can kind of distract down here, and then the Hellions can either run by or join up with them to help deal with the Zerglings. Scout comes in, sees the starport. This is all off 1 gas, which means you can go pretty quick 3rd command center behind this, even though you're committing so hard to the aggression as GUMIHO. Really creative build order. Oh, God. Zerglings are going to get a good surround. Hellions just aren't quite here. The Marine positioning is great, though. Just 1 or 2 Hellion volleys. Oh, those Hellions are just a bit too far away. Good trade for Rogue. Really good trade. Happy to clean that up. Positive trade for him. And whilst he is only on 28 workers, he should be able to drone up rather freely now. 3rd command center goes down pre-4 minutes. That's pretty quick. And that's because he delayed that 2nd gas. Now, he does have a Banshee on the way. I don't think this was gas first, was it, guys? Maybe one of you guys was paying more attention to the opening. If it was, I apologize for not mentioning that. But I don't think it would be, not with a reactor first. Doesn't make sense. Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh, Rogue. Oh, he's committing to it. He's committing to it. The SCV's not building. He's got to cancel it. He's got to cancel the command center. Great move for Rogue there. The command center a little bit exposed in the wall. And the Lings are going to snipe it. 2 workers going down as well. Brilliant play for Rogue. Rogue fighting back hard in game 2. Got trounced in game 1, and he's saying, no, that's not going to happen again. He's got spores coming up on each base. It's actually a Raven follow-up to the Banshee, which is interesting. Hellions running in. If they can dive in, get some worker kills, could be big. Roach Warren's on the way. 3 Queens up here to intercept. Going to kill 3 Creep Tumors is GUMIHO. Force those Queens to drop a few more. Rebuilds the 3rd command center in the main base. 2nd and 3rd barracks. Oh, 2nd and 3rd factory. Mech. Oh, now Rogue was the OG player who stopped GUMIHO's initial reign. GUMIHO won a GSL using the original battlecruiser before it could tactical jump. Actually, no, sorry. It could tactical jump, I think, but it couldn't move and shoot in 2017, I believe it was. 2018? 2017? Well, you guys can figure it out. I think it was 2017 when GUMIHO won that GSL pre-battlecruiser buff. I remember once someone called me out saying he actually won in 2019, but no, there's no way it was 2019. It was way long ago. And I remember Mech looked kind of imber for a while there. GUMIHO did it every game. Rogue was the original guy who played Hydra, Lingbane, Swarm Host to deal with it. And he just showed excellent knowledge of how to use that style. And it was really cool because no one else thought you could play a Hydra Lingbane versus Mech into Swarm Hosts. Like, people just did not have the knowledge of the game, and he was one of the guys who pushed that style forward. And of course, Rogue, King of the World 2017. Absolutely dominant in that year, and kind of shut down a lot of GUMIHO's success as well by showing everyone how to stop his mech style. Magfield's on the way, armor upgrades coming in as well. 4th and 5th factories almost there. 3rd command center landed instant double gas for GUMIHO. And he's going to come down south with the Viking looking for overlords that are in the dead space. Raven will join with aliens. Oh, he's just going to dive. That's crazy, though. You're going to lose the Raven. He gets down the 2 auto turrets, but he does lose the Raven. People wonder, why don't people use Ravens more? The reason is it's not very fast. It's hard to engage with. He's going to morph Hellbats on the front, but there are Roaches already out. Not many. He's going to have to stutter step. Rogue, pull back, pull back. You got to pull back, bro. You can't be losing your Roaches and Queens so quickly. These Hellbats getting a decent trade-off, but more Roaches and Queens are coming. As long as the drones run away, it's only a matter of time until the Roaches get a good trade on these Hellbats. Oh, a couple of drones in the open. GUMIHO looking for the burn. He's trying to burn down these drones. He will get a handful. A few Hellbats in the natural are getting cleaned up, and only 2 drones go down. Meanwhile, Lings in the third, Lings in the natural, Lings in the main. Oh no! Oh no, GUMIHO getting caught out here, and the Hellions going to struggle to clean that up. They will finally be able to do so. But wow, he defends at home and sends the Lings to counterattack, realizing Lings aren't going to help into a 10 Hellbat timing. What are they going to do? So he sends them to counterattack, knowing that's where they're going to get the most value. And now GUMIHO is far behind. 11 workers down. Uh-oh. Good Cyclone Micro. Nidus Swarmhost is the follow-up. Not very good against Cyclone Banshee. Nidus Swarmhost is very good against a more traditional mech style. But because Cyclone Banshee has such good map control, they can find ways to make this work. Command Center is still building. Roach is picking off a few SCVs. But only a few. Like, literally 2 workers went down. Wow, that was actually a really good hold. Thought Rogue would be miles and miles ahead, but GUMIHO, you know, he manages to throw together a defense. He's traded a little better. He's going to go extra Raven here, which is fascinating. He really does not want to burn scans on Creep Tumors this game. And he's going to go Cloak Banshee as well, so no doubt Banshees will come in a bit later. Hey, chat. Hey, Pig. Started Sector 2 this December. Picked up your Bronze to Jam. Did a bit of Protoss and Zerg, but sticking with Terran. 2.5k MMR so far. Think I can get more great guides. Thank you so much, Joel Codes. Welcome to StarCraft, my friend. Oh, God. Swarmhost on the right side there. Cyclone Hellion trying to hang out. Oh, he's going to hunt down the Roaches, though. That's actually kind of cool. Says, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, buddy. You can stand and fight. The Hellions should deal with the Zerg, and Cyclones will deal with everything else. Doesn't really lose a unit. Meanwhile, though, oh, he didn't lift his command center. Huge mistake for GUMIHO. Oh no, GUMIHO with a big mistake. Rogue getting massive value, but he's got no ground army. He lost all of his Roaches. All he's got is a few Queens and Swarmhosts. The Cyclone Hellion pulling back is actually a big mistake. He wanted to clean up the Nidus Worm, but dude, he could kill this base. There's no army. He has to use this window right now, but GUMIHO, this may be giving Rogue time to build up the defenses, the Roach Ravager that he needs to handle the ground army. This may be a big mistake. +1 Carapace coming in for Rogue. Rogue does not have a hive. Tries to throw up another Nidus Worm. I have no idea where that is. Probably in the middle? Yeah, in the middle. He's going to try and throw these guys forwards from a safe location in the middle. I don't know if they get in range of anything. He's going to go to the third. Watch them kill nothing, guys. Watch them literally run out of time. Maybe an SCV or 2. They're going to run out in a few seconds. Remember, Locusts have timed life, guys. They do not last forever. Cyclones with some big lock-ons. Okay, you know what? He forces a lift. He gets 7 SCVs. Locusts last longer than I gave them credit for. It was indeed a worthwhile wave. But Rogue loses a base on the left. GUMIHO not giving up. He's kind of mowing the lawn, going around, cleaning up the creep, you know, trying to limit the Zerg's territory. Hellbat on the tower. We'll go down to that single Roach down there. It's kind of funny looking interaction. And a Cyclone comes forward for GUMIHO. He's going to go say, oh, okay, you're in the middle. No worries. I'll clean up the middle. He can deny this gold base pretty easily from even across the minerals. And another Nidus goes up in the bottom, but he's down there already. So this is actually really good. Just look at the map vision for GUMIHO. He's making sure with these units spaced around, he can do what needs doing. His armory has got +2 vehicle plating. He should probably add ship weapons in case he wants to go tanks and Thors later. But for now, it's pure Cyclone, Hellion, Banshee. Very mobile comp. Roach Ravager is there. Oh, Fungal would be amazing to trap this. Hellion Cyclone moves south, gets himself a Swarm Host, almost gets a second one, and does force the Locust to land, and he's got to pull back. You just want to stutter step against those Locusts. Do not stand and fight with them. Anti-armor missile goes down. That actually doesn't affect Cyclone lock-on damage at all since it's spell damage. And armor does not impact spell damage, but so much Cyclone Hellion. Big overcommitment for Rogue, mate. Massive overcommitment. Only gets 5 SCVs, throws an army away. He's down 3,000 resources the unit's lost, and that's problematic. He really needs either Fungals or Ling Bane flank to actually properly trap this sort of Cyclone army. But he's trying to play pure Roach Ravager Swarm Host. The Swarm Host count is down to 9. It's been getting okay damage, but not that much. These Ravagers are going to disappear. They pop out of the cocoon into a deadly life that, of course, was only a couple of seconds. The Cyclone's picking off the Roaches there on the right side. I think the Cyclone finds the Nidus Worm. Indeed, it does. These Cyclones picking away that entire army. And once Cyclones get going, you need to deal with them correctly. We saw Rogue not know how to deal with Cyclones playing Hon Mono on Neon Violet Square a few weeks ago, and he had some of the worst play versus Cyclone I had ever seen from a pro gamer. In this game, it was not as bad, but it lacked finesse. The number of times he attacked off creep into the Cyclones and let him kite all the way. Because remember, this fight started here, and he just chased into the Cyclones. Guys, that's a Cyclone's wet dream. All the Cyclone wants to do is shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot, run, and pull back. And remember, Rogue had a fantastic early game, but he just really seems to have a mental block about how to deal with the Cyclone. GG, well played for GUMIHO, getting a 2-0 despite a rough start. All right, guys. Well, guess what? The series is not over, because Rogue actually won his next series in that group. GUMIHO lost his. So I decided, let's cast both of these series together and see what happens in the rematch. Rogue in the top right getting another chance. And GUMIHO, I'd be super triggered. The whole reason I hate this format is because the guy who wins the first series dominates his opponent, and then like Rogue can just come back, counter the builds you used before because you've already shown your surprises, barely win a series 2-1, and gets to leave the group despite GUMIHO going 4... Wait, so it's going like what did he, having gone like, because he could have gone 3 wins for GUMIHO, 2 for Rogue. So GUMIHO could go 3-2 versus Rogue. Rogue still goes out. And there is a ridiculously high percentage of the time that when the two same players rematch in the deciding match in this format, the guy who lost the first series wins the second series a crazy number of times. And that sucks for the guy who already won the series. I always feel like it's just not the most enjoyable format in my opinion. It's okay to have some tournaments like this, but for me, the reason I hate it so much is because we saw this in every single StarCraft tournament for a decade. And I was like, hey guys, could we maybe be vaguely original? Could we maybe have any other format? And they're like, that's the one tournament format there is. StarCraft players aren't exactly known for their creativity. Let's put it this way, guys. You know, there's creative RTSs and there's StarCraft players. We click fast. Oust, thanks for the 17 months resub. Appreciate it. When were these games played? Well, if you want to ask that, what you can do is you can activate the commands in the chat, Goo-Goos. How you doing, mate? Hope you're having a good day. You can always go ! bracket during best games. It's usually 9 times out of 10 that's up to date with what matches we're doing. Everything from today is from the LiuLi 2024 Grand Final Tournament. Well, not Grand Final, the 2024 Finals, basically the one that's being played at the moment. They've just finished the group stages, so we will have the playoffs of that coming up, I believe next weekend, next week. I understand the complaint about the format. I like seeing players adapt between the series. Me too. I mean, it's got something for it. I'm just a hater because we saw too much of it for too long. And I felt like whenever a player got a cool upset, the other guy just gets to wreck them in the rematch. And I was like, oh man. Like, for me, it felt like there was a lot of cool upsets that did not get rewarded for players because of this format. And that to me just kind of sucked for my excitement as a viewer. Where I'd be like, oh, GUMIHO took a series off Dark. And then Dark just destroys him in the rematch. And I'm like, I'm so sad right now. I'm like, my boy GUMIHO. No. You guys know I'm a bit of a GUMIHO stan. I do like Rogue a lot. I think Rogue is a player who I have a little frustration that he doesn't train harder. I do think, you know, if he closed a few of the mechanical holes in his game, he'd be pretty damn amazing, god tier. But like his creativity, his strategy, and just his... I like the way he picks his gambles. The way he picks his builds is always... It feels like Rogue has a truly unique perspective on decision-making in StarCraft. So that's why these two matching is so fascinating. Now, he's got to fix the Cyclone problem. If I was GUMIHO, I would be very tempted to play Cyclone Hellion again with the way Rogue threw those Roach Ravager armies away multiple times. Hellion Reaper moving forward across the map. Roach Horn coming down as well. Hellions still getting pumped out. Oh, we're going to go for a dive. A bit risky, but there's no link speed. Oh, the Reaper gets jammed up on those Zerglings. And those drones, I thought they would stop trying to, you know, delay these boys. But oh, a bit slow in the Evo chamber. Oh, there's 2 drones there. Nice micro for GUMIHO. I think this is worth it. The mining time, 2 drones, couple Zerglings, create some disruption. And then Hellions can drive in the front at the same time. Full gasless build. Luckily, no drones sitting on the 3rd base. Oh man, the Hellion's still alive is a problem. Good pullback on the drones. You kind of have to here. He stops to inject because he's just like, geez, can't deal with this. Oh, Hellions on the front. They're going to find another one. Dude, these Hellions. GUMIHO playing like Clem right now, refusing to let these units die. As I say it, he does lose 1 to a drone, which does kind of hurt. But you know what? Gets a few more drones. The Hellions at the 3rd pullback. And in comes Chadicus Maximus himself. He's like, yeah, you dirty Zerg! Kill them all! Yeah! He's basically a Starship Troopers character. He says, do you want to live forever? And yeah, then immediately gets his face melted off by the enemy roach. That clearly was a bit of a misrally or an F2 by the looks of it. I think maybe a bit of a panic click there. That was a Helldiver for sure. It's okay, guys. He'll just get dropped in again. It's fine. He forgot to throw down his 380 mil heavy artillery marker, though. If he just threw that before he died, this could be a dead nest over here, man. I haven't actually hopped on the big update for Helldivers. I heard a lot of people are getting back into it. Has anyone tried it? Should I reinstall? I uninstalled just to save space on my hard drive because I had so many games to play, but maybe after the RTS Fest, I might hop on and try out the new update. It's crazy that it's like just, hey, it's a whole new faction. It's free. Really happy with the way they've been running that game. Besides, you know, Sony trying to ruin it. But, you know, the actual game devs, not the absolutely evil publisher who are so out of touch and stupid they don't understand how the world works. Anyway, guys, we've got the Marines there, factory and starport. 1-1 on the way. Don't disrespect it. That was a brave move from the Marine. Calling it a misrally is disrespect. I apologize to the family of that Marine. He did sacrifice his life for the greater cause. It may not have been effective in terms of direct outcomes, but it was inspirational. And I'll light a candle every night for that one Marine, Chadicus Maximus. No worries, guys. I'll do that. No worries. My favorite in-universe lore explanation for respawning in Helldivers. It says you don't just respawn, you're playing a new Helldiver now. I like that as well. You're like, throw another bit of meat into the grinder. Yeah, so like, yeah. When you run in and just throw a bunch of artillery on yourself and grenades at your feet as you get swarmed, you're basically, yeah. You're just sacrificing yourself. I like it. I like that as well. Alright guys, Hellions and Marines hanging out. Have we got medevacs? Here they are. There's a Hellbat ability to morph, but against Roach Ravager, this is not a good idea. Do not morph. You see Roach Ravager, you run. Rogue's on 79 workers. He's had a good start, man. He's feeling very good after this early game. Even though the Hellions were annoying, he's just like, I'm on 80 workers. The Banshees didn't do much damage. At the end of the day, units lost tab is perfectly fine. With the 4th base up, fully mining 7.5 minutes. He can go into Hive. Bailey Nest is done. Lots of good things happening for him. Banshees do slide in on that side. Queens will get rid of one of the Banshees. GUMIHO stays a bit too long. Medevacs pull away on the south side after denying... No, they didn't deny the active tumors. So that's actually really good for Rogue. Where is the 1-1 upgrades? Well, they exist. Where's 2-2 for GUMIHO? It's very late right now. Hellions driving the left side. Managed to kill some drones. Oh, it's a 3-pronged attack. What the heck? GUMIHO, Rogue, keeping his whole army clumped up. GUMIHO makes a mistake over here. Those Hellions trying to get the high energy queens. Marines do pick up from that side. Banshees over there as well. Dude, GUMIHO gets a queen, gets a bunch of drones in the main, gets a few drones in the natural. I can't believe Rogue F2'd his army to the top there. Very sloppy for Rogue to not have his army pre-split when he already knew the Marines were in the bottom right, the Hellions were in the top left. His army should have been spread half and half on different control groups, but this is something Rogue gets a bit lazy with his F2 sometimes lately. I've noticed that. It's a slight little, it just opens up opportunities for a guy like GUMIHO who's tricky at queuing up many angles to find something. Ultra Cavern though on the way, and I love to see it. You guys know I'm a big Ultra fan. A lot of people hate Ultras, they think they're bad. I love them. 8 barracks are up. Guys, there is a 4th command center done. It's going to float to the right. Nothing defending the 3rd against the one +1 carapace Zerglings. A few Marines in a tank. Eventually will defend it. A lot of long-distance mining SCVs that got pre-rallied. Oh, Bile's trying to land. Tanks are going to siege deep in the Zerg territory. GUMIHO is focusing on just getting the aggression going as fast as possible. Accidentally lifts up 8 Marines, though, which is a mistake. Back at home, Lings do force the lift on the 3rd. I don't think that's too big a deal. He's going to kill the 4th, but wisely, Rogue pulls back and does not give him the fight. No Viper, no Infestor. Nothing that's going to magically turn the tables on this GUMIHO army. So GUMIHO, he doesn't know that, though. He thinks Vipers might be out. So he's like, yeah, let's rotate, let's pull back. He still hasn't unloaded those Marines, finally realizing. And he unloads 1 Marine, 2. Still, 7 Marines in that medevac. GUMIHO, a little busy APM-wise here. And he still hasn't started 2-2. Oh, no. Oh, GUMIHO. I mean, he's all in. He's just got to go now. At this point, pull the boys even. If you haven't started 2-2, you are dead when +2 carapace ultras kick in, man. Marine tank Hellbat hanging out right now. Ooh. Marines up top. Baiting the Lingbane Roach Ravager Ultra into the siege tanks. Another Lingbane run by in the south. Marine Marauder tank is nearby, but GUMIHO, his reaction speeds need to be incredibly quick to notice this. A few ultras are out. Chitinous plating is almost there. Ultra lands a hit. He's going to go for a crazy move down the ramp, but way too deep on creep is GUMIHO. He was distracted by the Lingbane running in on the 3rd base at the same time. He took some big Baneling hits there. That being said, there were still plenty of tanks behind it. More coming forward. He's got to pull away from the Biles. He does. The Biles kill his own Ultra and Ravager. Wow, GUMIHO with a really good position now. If he can just kill this Ultra, his bio may be overstimmed, but that Ultra takes good damage. Nice. Biles take out one of the tanks, but another one takes its position. The Changelings get shift-clicked there by the Marauders. Ultra Cavern goes down. More Biles landing on one tank. Can they take out another? Transfuses on the Ultra keep him alive, but only barely. +2 carapace is almost there. GUMIHO, he's got Rogue on the ropes, just like in that game 2 of their previous series. From a bit of an awkward situation, GUMIHO showing that Rogue is not as well-rounded at getting to late game in this matchup. This matchup being so mechanical, so momentum and practice-based. It takes so many hours to be a God of Zerg versus Terran. And I do think it's kind of this late mid-game period where Rogue does struggle because GUMIHO has been grinding non-stop for the last few years. That being said, 4 Ultras with +2 carapace against only +1 Marines. No upgrades on those siege tanks. They're finally going to break this position. That Bile took out a medevac nicely. Oh, Baneling's going to force the pickup here. One more tank shot on the Banes. GUMIHO thinking about unloading again. And actually, he probably should. He's got plenty of Marine Marauder. He's got a 4th base finally morphing into a planetary. He scans. He sees the army. He's not pulling back. The Mad Dog. What? GUMIHO. What? He gives up his planetary like a crazy man. Well, he's going to try to repair it. He thought he could defend with the rally while counterattacking. He's trying to repair it now, but I don't think he's going to get there in time. The Ultra getting in so much damage, and it barely goes down. GUMIHO misjudging that ever so slightly. On the other hand, he pushes in and kills Rogue anyway. Decisiveness in the face of forgetting your upgrades. GUMIHO wins a game from a bit of a questionable position. I killed a few units with his aliens, but if we go to like 5 minutes, I thought he was behind at 5-6 minutes. Let's check. Did I misread this game? I feel like the early aliens were really good, very annoying, but I don't think GUMIHO really got any damage past that, right? I mean, the 3-prong, I think, was the big mistake for Rogue, where he took completely unnecessary damage, but like this didn't do anything. Banshee flies in, Banshee flies away. Just double checking my own perceptions right now, guys. No, I mean, Rogue was defending pretty well, and he got up that quick 4th. I think just in a moment he's going to go take that, and he saturated it like immediately. Yeah, no, I think Rogue was in a good spot here. Don't get me wrong, 3rd CC was up, but then he kind of just, yeah, he clumped his whole army, and GUMIHO got him with the old 3-prong, started doing some damage, and then found some really nice push angles. Well played by GUMIHO, man. Takes the first map. All right, guys, let's go. We've got Rogue over here in the bottom right side of the map. GUMIHO in the top left. Up a game, going into Abyssal Reef. You gonna go 2-Rex Reaper again? I feel like, didn't he go deeper over there last time? Do you think he builds 2 barracks on the right? Nah. I think this is a 1 barracks wall off. I think. I could be wrong. We will find out. Rogue here going for the classic 13 Overlord build. You've been doing it for decades. Old dogs ain't gonna learn new tricks. Big, how do I not get bored in StarCraft 2 playing alone? I had fun at first, but now I can't get myself to open the game, and I have no one to play with. Join my Discord and join some of the amateur tournaments and things going on, and just try to find some practice partners. One of the best things you can do is have some actual goals as well about what's going on. Pig, isn't the score 2-1? These are two separate best of threes we've been casting, guys. GUMIHO won the first one 2-0. And now he won that game 1-0 as well. He hasn't dropped a map. This is game 2 of their second best of 3. He's dominating Rogue right now, which is not what I was expecting. I felt like Rogue would be a good stylistic matchup to deal with GUMIHO. But yeah. Join my Discord, !Discord. If you guys are watching on YouTube, go check out the description of the video. I believe has a link to my Discord on this channel. I'm not sure. If it doesn't, you can always go to my Twitch channel and type !Discord, or you can go to pigstarcraft.com, our website, and find links there. But there's good community in there. And one of the best things that I always do in games is I ask people for practice games. And that's how you get better and you enjoy any game. So what you do is when someone beats you, and it feels really frustrating, or like their strategy's evil and doesn't let you play the game, what you want to do is you want to train yourself to go, GG, well played, any tips? Wow, that was really strong, how do I stop that? And if you then follow that up, if they're welcoming conversation, this is before you leave the game. And normally I will only type, if I know I've lost, I grab all my workers and I send them into my opponent's army. I move command anything I have left, any units, any army, and I just shift click them to move back and forwards in front of their army, just to show that I'm actually raising the white flag and I'm not just trying to distract them. Because some people won't respond, because even if you say GG, they might think you're just lying, right? Because there are losers who will do that. So I throw my whole army away. I say, hey, any tips? If they're, nice enough to have a chat, I'll be like, hey, can we play some practice games? Bam, you've got someone who's around your skill level. You guys play a few games. If they're nice enough, they do the same strategy. You try to deal with it. Bam, you're suddenly playing in a community. Too many people these days, they literally are just like, man, everyone's so lonely these days, right? Everyone's like, oh, we don't have I'm lonely. I don't have friends. I don't have community. And I'm like, well, you know what you need to do to get community? You need to go talk to humans. Even if it's and online is pretty easy. So start online. But people are like, I don't want to do that though. I'm like, well, you're going to stay lonely, aren't you? Like life's a lot more fun when you share it in a community and you have friends and family and stuff. And it's the same with your hobbies, because you can't always find someone in real life who lives on your street or in your close friend group to play a hardcore game like StarCraft with you. But if you just message people who you play on the ladder, they're naturally the people who have the same hobbies and interests as you, right? And you guys can actually have way more fun playing the game. And it's staggering to me how many people, just because games, it's so easy to find matches these days, they just don't know anyone in the games they play. The only interaction they have is either a YouTube comment section or a Twitch chat. And I'm like, dude, get on there and play some games and talk to the people you play against online. The people are like, nah, the game just gives me a find match button. I don't need to do anything, so I'm going to put zero effort in. Back in the day, it kind of forced you to make connections because you were often just joining games off of a lobby list. It automatically threw you into different chat channels for your region and stuff. You're also younger, you had a lot of time on your hands, so you talk to the people. These days, it feels like the only older gamers that have preserved the art of meeting people and having interactions online are the people in the general chat who are basically going super weird comments about trans people and how they shouldn't have rights, or talking about, weird racist stuff. I've heard some of them are trying to recruit people into ISIS. I think that's a joke, but I'm not too sure. They're kind of like, Islamic State, let's go. For some reason, it's... I'm not saying go in the general chat and try to hang out with those guys. I'm saying just, there's other chat channels and communities and Discord groups you can hang out with. The main one, it throws everyone into a game these days, is probably not the cool place to hang out. But don't judge everyone in that game by those weirdos. All right, guys, let's go. Alien Reaper hanging out. Queen's going to push it back. So far, units lost tab is pretty small. 4 Zergers and an Overlord, not too bad. 3 Reapers are really good because they can tank a lot of damage and heal up. We'll see what happens. Fourth hatchery coming up here as well. 3 barracks there. 3rd command center is going to float out. Single eBay, guys. Single eBay. He's doing it all in again. It's the 7 racks, 8 racks all in again. He's going to go Marine. That was this map as well, wasn't it? It was this map. So he's doing the same sort of follow. It's a different opening because he's got more Hellions this time and Reapers that survived, but it's the same follow-up. He's going to take the front third and he's just going to do a crazy ARAX. Why? Because if you get tanks on this ledge, like you put a tank here, This base is screwed, man. There's so many amazing angles. This base here is awful. So Rogue has not studied Cyril's stream. Guys, you got to study Cyril's stream. If you're a Zerg player and you don't watch every second Cyril live streams, you're an idiot. I would go out on a limb. What's the first thing Cyril figured out when he was playing Clem? When we did a first-person point of view, we did a point of view cast of him playing Clem on this map. He took this base, and immediately in the replay, he said, this was a mistake. I should always expand down here and down here as my 4th and 5th base and try to cover creep, because these areas are wide open. Good places for Zerg to fight. These ledges, awful for Zerg. This ledge, awful for Zerg. This ledge, awful for Zerg. But if you're expanding and controlling the area in front of it, that's how you shut down Terran pushes. And that's something Cyril figured out very early, but I haven't seen any other Zergs figure that out just yet. And it's a little surprising. Maybe it's because I watch more StarCraft than everyone else. I don't know. Oh, no, he's losing multiple queens. Rogue! He does get 9 SCVs on the 3rd, though. Massive run by. Tank on the high grounds there. There's a few queens going down, though. He's only got 5 left. This tank positioning is decent. It's not as scary, though, as if it was hugging one of those other ledges. I do think if GUMIHO could get the tanks down on the bottom, it's way harder for Rogue to engage. Marines try to move out to reestablish control of the 3rd. The Marine pullback is really nice, but that tank's not covering the whole 3rd mineral line. So this is actually kind of awkward to defend. Hellions poking forward and Marines. SCVs, a few more went down there. Only 46 workers right now for GUMIHO. He doesn't even have reactors on his 4th and 5th barracks. He's kind of broke right now. He's going to pull back for a moment. 59 workers for Rogue, 47 for GUMIHO, both locked in a pretty low economy game. But if Rogue can find the room to drone his 4th, his economy will explode and get way higher than his opponent. Few noobs in the chat with strategy questions. Try to help them out if you can, guys who are watching live. Baneling, Zergling, trying to get rid of these Reapers. 1 Reaper goes down. Great trade for GUMIHO. Only 1 Reaper for a bunch of Banes and Zerglings. How many tanks are there? 4. Wow. He's going to leave a tank at home as a bit of insurance for run-bys. But still, 3 tanks on the front is excellent. He's going to go for that southern ledge we were talking about. Oh, yes. This is such a nasty tank spot, man. And, yeah, beautiful position. Denying the creep is big. I would try to run up the ramp and get that creep tumor if I was GUMIHO. I would try to click that one. It's trying to bait him in. Got to watch, though. You can't be not watching, GUMIHO! You of these Marines go down. Pick up the Marines on the front. Nice pickup. Banelings roll into the Hellions. Pretty decent Bane rolls. Saves a few more Marines on that side. Spore Crawler pushes back the Marines on the high ground, but he does unload a few of them. The tank barely survives. Both sides. 9 kills on one, 21 kills on the other. That's a Chad Hammer siege tank, that is. He's moving it forward, which is kind of a crazy choice. I guess he's going to put it a bit closer to the ramp or something like that. He's worried about Hydras on the high ground, maybe. He's going to move it forward. Bailey Nest is going to fall. There's a new one already building in the back. It's already almost there. Marines are getting overrun by the Lingbane Hydra. 1 tank on the front goes down. He dropped a mule to repair it, but wasn't able to repair in time. The Marines getting hit by Lingbane Hydra from all sides. It's +1 attack for the Marines. 1-1 for the Zerg. Melee carapace upgrades, of course. Hydras do not have muscular augments, only groove spines. Queens and Hydras try to move to the low ground, but it's a very compromised position. Marine Lib overcommitting right now. There's Queen Hydra underneath. The Lingbane forces the Marines to pick up. The Hydra Queen take care of the Libs, and that is an overcommitment for GUMIHO. Rogue on 71 workers defends the vicious GUMIHO thrust on Abyssal Reef, and that's going to take us to Game 3 to see who gets out of this group. Alright, guys. We got Rogue in the top right side of the map. We got GUMIHO in the bottom left as well. It's going to be a Game 3 in the second series to decide the entire little rivalry here. It's Amygdala. GUMIHO, I gotta say, it might be Cyclone time again. Rogue seems to have a glaring weakness in terms of how he deals with those Cyclones. I think it'd be a good way to play. We'll see, though. We've just found out, by the way, we're discussing Florida and insane places where wild animals can kill you. And we ended up coming up to the agreement with, like, you know, northern Canada. There's, like, bears going to eat you and stuff. People are saying Australia's filled with venomous animals. I'm like, yeah, if you're not running around tropical areas through the rainforest naked, like, you don't really ever get bitten by a snake or a spider. Most people, right? I was like, it's scarier in other places. We've actually come to the conclusion the most dangerous and scary part of the world is probably actually Florida, due to Florida Man. As that's the most unpredictable predator in the wild. And I think we all agree on that. You guys let me know in the comments if you have a more predictable area, or not more predictable, a more dangerous area of the world than Florida. But I think that's for the wildlife there. Yeah, I imagine, you know, coked up people in Miami, very dangerous and unpredictable. Florida Man in general, a very dangerous critter. And apparently T90 lives there. People are saying Age of Empires 2 caster. Big fan of the T90. If he ever goes off the deep end, we know why. He's a Florida man. Third hatchery over there as well. Florida has gators everywhere. Yeah, isn't there like a gator versus like anaconda war going on in like the Everglades or something like that? There's like giant pythons eating alligators and stuff. And they're like all the crazy wetland stuff is eating each other. I was watching a primitive technology video the other day and I saw he had like a giant python go past him. So if you guys ever watch primitive technology on YouTube, the guy who goes and builds stuff from scratch with like rock and stick, you know, basically the guy who's permanently playing the Dark Age from Age of Empires over and over again. In total silence, turn on the captions and he kind of subtitles it, describing what he's doing. Yeah, he had like a giant, must have been like at least 5-6 meters. This, at least 3-4 meters, I would say. This giant python just like slide past him while he's building some stuff. I was like, oh my god, that's far northern Australia. It's scary up there. It's more tropical. There's more stuff like that. We don't have giant several meter long pythons where I live. That's not a thing, man. Here we go. Ling's trying us around. Ooh. Okay. Hellion, good micro, but I think over... Oh, that last shot was actually really nice. I was going to say, I think this is fine for Rogue, and the last shot killed like 6 Zerglings, and I was like, kind of good for GUMIHO, actually. Kind of good for GUMIHO. GUMIHO did a Marine into quick factory, then reactor build, so it's allowed his Hellions to come in very early, which is why Rogue needs to build a bit more defense than normal. On the other hand, with that into second gas, third command center won't go down until about now. It should go down pretty soon, about 4:30. Banshee's coming in really early with Cloak, but Rogue respects the build, builds his spores at 410. Super safe play for Rogue. I love it. Rogue is adapting very well to this sort of aggressive opening. Third CC on location. Oh, GUMIHO is going to get punished there. That should get denied as that SCV tries to fight, but I don't think it's going to win that fight. It does go down. Banshee comes in on the natural. It's already deep in the red. Hellion's getting blocked by the Zerglings, taking quite a few of those hits from the Queens, but once they get away from the Queens, they are the faster unit. Queen comes from the north, does take down the Banshee. Meanwhile, single Zergling still denying that third from building. Huge delay on that third command center. Massive play for Rogue, but GUMIHO roasting and toasting these drones. How the hell do you like your steak? I like my drone steak well done, extra crispy. Those Hellions, 8 drones go down, quite a few Zerglings as well. But the third command center is delayed. You do sacrifice a lot of expensive units, but we are going mech behind it. Sorry, second and third factories on the way. Armory coming in. I love that he's going mech. I think that's a really good idea, but units lost tab, as you can see, is in favor of Rogue. Rogue had to build early spores, though. He had to build a lot of early Zerglings. It's not like it's just you're miles ahead as Rogue, but I do think you're comfortable. I think you're okay with how this early game went, especially with the delay on the base. You're going to go 6 gases. Should probably send a drone out to secure that 4th base in the near future, as he's up at close to 60 workers. And his overlords are coming in at pretty good times. So Rogue's playing a very nice game. Now Double Tech Lab comes in here, and he's going to go Hyperflight. Rode his Banshee speed already. Very cool. I don't think Nidus Swarmhost is bad, but I think the most important thing for Rogue is to get either Fungal or... I don't think Ling Bane really works on this map. Maybe it could. A big Ling Bane flank can sometimes trap the Cyclones, allow your Roach Ravager to get on top of them. But you can't just be chasing into them. That's a big problem, what he did in that last game. Let's zoom out here, see a bit of a bigger picture of what these Banshees are going for. I'm going to grab 3 drones and rotate. Now remember, he already lost a Banshee. So the fact that there's 2 here, a bit of a tell. Rogue also Overseer scouts and sees what's happening. He knows the Banshees are being upgraded on the starport. There's 3 factories going for mech, and indeed it is a battle mech build, guys. Also, keep in mind, the Cyclone's broken. I should probably have mentioned this in the previous series. I've just remembered. Unless they're playing on a mod to fix the Cyclone issue, which I doubt, but I don't know for sure, I can actually test it. I can actually test it next time a Cyclone's fighting. I can observe. Essentially, the cooldown timing on the Cyclone is what tells you. And you can see it's meant to have a 4.2 second cooldown. That one finishes at 7 minutes. And it's ready again at 7:03. Nope. Yeah, it's broken. So basically, it has a 2.8 second cooldown on lock-on. So when a lock-on finishes, it takes 2.8 seconds in the current version. It's meant to be 4.2. It's a 33% reduction in the time between lock-ons. Now, that doesn't, of course, translate to a 33% attack speed increase. It's way smaller than the previous Cyclone bug, but it is nonetheless a bug that really does actually affect things and means the Cyclones, when they're shooting, locking on, killing a unit, they can much quicker target a new unit with a new lock-on, and that really can affect things. So something which I think sort of found out initially, I believe. And I did, check in game and immediately found it to be true. Dude, these speed banshees with cloak are actually so good. They're so fast. Oh, he almost gets the queen. He's gonna pull away there. 65 workers only, and he's gonna go fast hive. So Rogue's gonna play Vipers. That's absolutely a viable way of playing. Roach Hydra Viper is one of the classic anti-mech styles. And whilst Abduct might not be that good versus Cyclones, it's great if you get like 4 Vipers out and you just keep abducting. Problem, he's going Tunneling Claw Roaches and Hydras and double upgrades right now, and he doesn't have a 4th base with gases up. Guys, this is really bad for Rogue. Where is the gases on this 4th? He's playing one of the most gas-heavy styles in the game. Ideally, when your hive finishes, you have 800 gas banked to make 4 Vipers. He does not have that right now. So Rogue's on the back foot. He's in a bit of a dangerous spot. He's trying to drone up. He's trying to take those gases on that 4th as it finishes. But these Banshees for GUMIHO, relentless. GUMIHO's got his own 4th command center building. He's adding vehicle weapons. He's starting tank production because he realizes, hey, I'm playing against a Roach Hydra style. So he's gone Magfield and Blue Flame, but he's only made a handful of Cyclones, 7 Cyclones. So I think this is really smart. GUMIHO says, of course you're not going to die to Mass Cyclone Banshee again. I'll open with the same style, but then I'll just transition into whatever counters you. I see Roach Hydra, I make siege tanks. And that is really awesome. Only a single Viper coming out. I think this is really bad for Rogue. If he had 3-4 Vipers, they counter tanks. Parasitic Bomb beats Banshees. Abducts beat Cyclones, Blinding Clouds, and Abducts beat siege tanks. But he needs more Vipers. The second one starts up. He needs a 3rd. He needs a 4th. Every bit of gas needs to go towards that Viper production right now. And I think Tunneling Claws might be a bit of a waste. Pig, what does Battle Mech counter? It's fast. It's a fast moving composition. It's like saying what is Lingbane Muta counter? Technically nothing, right? It loses to anything in a head-on fight. You just don't fight head-on. It runs around, hits where your opponent's weak, it finds openings, dives in, and because your opponent's so on the back foot against it, it allows you to mass expand. So think of this as the Lingbane Muta of Terran. Battle Mech is, I'm in your face, I'm running in, I'm running out, clearing creep, killing a hatchery, killing overlord, run in, run away. Kite, 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 run away, move in, shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move. Anything slow moving, anything that chases the Cyclone so they can just shoot everything down is huge. 3 turrets. Why? Why does he have 3 turrets? I think it's to catch the Vipers, but dude, big Roach overcommitment. Tunneling Claws does not pay off. And GUMIHO there playing excellent style. I think that was to deal with potential Vipers. I think he's like, look, tank plus turrets there, and he's probably going to build more turrets and tanks out on this side as well. So if the Vipers want to come in range to Abduct or Blinding Cloud, they're going to get hit by those missile turrets. But I guess I don't understand when to play Battle Mech versus a handful of stuff. You can just choose to play it. So don't focus on when to do things. It's just that, like, eventually Vipers will beat him. He could probably beat this because there's only 3 Vipers with pure Battle Mech. But tanks are, of course, going to always be good against a Roach Hydra army if you can protect them from the Vipers. That is a big if. But Battle Mech is just a fast-moving style, so it doesn't really work on simple unit counters. Like, you can surround this army to trap it and kill it. You can hit it with Fungal so it can't run away. You could beat it with Abducts if you have enough Viper energy. I don't think 3 is anywhere near enough. If it was mass Cyclone, you'd abduct 6 Cyclones and get overrun by the rest over time. But for now, Hydra Frenzy, 3-2 upgrades, Lurker Den. Rogue's going to stabilize in the late game, and we're going to get to see who has the better late game. I think the big weakness of GUMIHO's late game is he's a bit of a battlecruiser stan. He's obsessed with battlecruisers. They're garbage against Corruptors. It's good to get a few battlecruisers to harass, but if you go for mass battlecruiser in the late game, it's way weaker than going Ghosts. GUMIHO, though, like me, struggles to micro multiple siege units, Ravens, kiting with Cyclones, running around with Banshees, and use Ghosts at the same time. So he always goes battlecruisers. There we go. Fusion Core, 2nd and 3rd starport, all on the way. Or actually 3rd and 4th starport, I should say. Where are they building? Just over here. Banshee's going to try to kill the Spore. Remember, Spores only have 300 hit points. so they're way weaker against this style. Even though they do more damage, they get sniped very quickly. Cyclone held that tank in the middle. 3 Banshees go down on the right side, but he's got position on the gold base. Gold base gets denied. The gold base is always a very easy to deny base on this map. I don't think Rogue's too surprised by that, but oh man, he needs more spores here. He pulled all of his Hydras away. Rogue, he's been struggling with this sort of thing. Multi-prong keeps catching him out in this series when he pulls his whole army together. Blinding Cloud, another Blinding Cloud on those tanks would be huge. They've already unsieged. Abducts are going to come in. The Roach Hydra cleaning up the middle of the map, and Rogue finally gets a victory. A desperately needed one. Lurker upgrades are almost there in terms of the Lurker range. Roach Hydra still chasing. There's more tanks behind this. Cyclone's kiting a little bit, trying to lock onto the Hydras, but not that many available. And these 2 command centers are looking very exposed. If you could finish building them and lift them and run them away, that would be big. But, oh, the command center's getting focused. Pull the SCVs, maybe? Oh, God, if he loses both command centers, that could be a big problem. Planetary's getting focused down as well. There's no tank here. Mass Repair tries to come in. Beautiful move if he can get the base, but he doesn't quite get it. Too many SCVs repairing, and he's going to frenzy his way out of there, a.k.a. Nano-Muscular Swell. That was a good move. That was so important to slow down GUMIHO. He's going to find a base in the bottom right as well. Huge, huge moves for Rogue. Just when GUMIHO was looking like he was going to get out of control. Rogue, only on 67 workers, kills 2 command centers, breaks the army in the middle. If he can respread creep and keep GUMIHO contained on 4 bases for a little bit, he can rebuild his drones and get back in this game. Rogue, only 66 workers, desperately needs those drones. GUMIHO has to delay his battlecruiser transition because he doesn't have as many bases now. And he's going to just go for 3-3 and a single battlecruiser starting just for some light harassment. I would imagine he's actually going to go double. Man, I don't know. Committing to BCs already with no bank? Crazy. Sensor Tower comes up, spots the Zerg army. Tanks aren't siege. Where's the Vipers? Vipers are coming in, but look at that. There's Vikings. There are 5-6 Vipers. He abducts a couple of these Vikings, but he loses one of his Vipers in the process, and that's the whole point of the Vikings. The Vikings are there to tax those Vipers. Every time your Vipers go for an engage, you either use your abducts on relatively cheap units, the Vikings, or you lose all your Vipers to those Vikings if they try to run past them. Even better would be having some EMPs available. A couple of EMPs does counter this style pretty hard. 4 battlecruisers are going to be really good because, look at this, guys. +3 armor is almost finished. Meanwhile, +1 air attacks only just started. So even though the battlecruisers aren't going to do that much damage to the Corruptors, they're not going to die very quickly at all. They're going to tank a lot of that Corruptor damage. Hellions drive in there. Oh my gosh! 2-pronged Hellion run by. It's a Blue Flame barbecue. Oh, I did not realize GUMIHO here, like one of those sushi chefs when they pull out that little Bernie thing, one of those fancy chefs, and they start flaming like the scallop or whatever, and you're just like, oh my god. What do they call it? A buri or something? I don't know, when they torch it. He basically just did that to Rogue's drone line, but he didn't ask permission. He said, trust me, I'm one of these chefs who doesn't even ask you what you want. I tell you what you want. And it's a whole bunch of super roasted drones. Omakase Chef GUMIHO. Cyclone Hellion dancing around. Rogue needs to go corrupt his man. If he doesn't realize what's happening, like these BCs are going to show themselves. One spore is going to go down so quickly. Yamato almost one-shots it. Cyclone hanging out over there. GUMIHO still being a nuisance with just single units. And these BCs. It's go time! They don't even need to stop to Yamato, to be fair. They probably could just kill it. Yeah, look at how fast it's going to go. Even the transfusers coming in. Gonna go for the Queens first. There's a lot of transfuse energy, to be fair. Hydras and Vipers coming up. Interesting he didn't scan, guys. He better get... Teleport. Oh, he loses one. Sloppy GUMIHO, man. You can't be losing battle cruisers at 700 resources. So first battle cruiser attack, not worth it. He's gonna go Interference Matrix. What? No! This ability doesn't work versus Zerg, guys. It only hits mechanical and psionic units. So you can literally only use it on the Vipers out of the Zerg army because there's no mechanical Zerg units. So you can literally... No one uses Interference Matrix to block Zerg spellcasters. Nobody does this, GUMIHO. Is GUMIHO about to show us some God play? Some creative God play? Or are we going to see that this is actually, no, not something you're going to have the APM and skill to land in the middle of a fight? Especially because the Raven cast range is not that long. And it's a very slow unit. So, I don't know, man. Seems a little bit dicey, to say the least. 7 Corruptors on the way for Rogue. As long as Rogue keeps getting his upgrades, that'll be good. Wait, did he cancel? Oh, he cancelled his +1 attack to make Great Aspire. Oh, no, dude. You're already way behind on upgrades. It's +3 armor versus 0-0. And now you're going to get +1 attack. He's already going to have +1 on his battle cruisers. He's going to maintain a triple upgrade advantage. Second Spire goes down to try and rectify that, but it's pretty late, man. Oh, Cyclone's doing some damage. Not quite killing the Overseers, but killing a lot of creep. And not having to scan to do so. GUMIHO trying to get that Raven value. Does lose a Cyclone to the Roaches. But anytime they get lured into the tanks, a whole bunch of those Roaches do go down, man. Bottom right side, Hydra Viper comes in. Did he get another kill? Oh, he's going to get a few more kills. These +3 Hydras are actually killing a lot. And he's going to get the Raven as well. Yep, an anti-armor missile only helps battle cruisers, really. Out of the Terran units, Hellions will get a bit of bonus from it. Tanks, it's negligible. Battle cruisers is the only unit with a low enough damage and a high enough attack rate for a -2 armor to really matter. 3 battle cruisers have gone down, though. GUMIHO being a little wasteful, but how do you defend these corner bases? Amygdala gets really, what's the word? Claustrophobic the longer it goes. The longer this map goes, it feels very hard as Zerg to expand to these corners. It's so hard to defend them. Oh, he runs in with the Corruptors, but I mean, Yamato plus Cyclones. GUMIHO doesn't even bother teleporting the battlecruiser, I guess because it's the one that it was on cooldown. But the Cyclone shots plus the Yamatos destroy Rogue's army. Rogue here tried to make Broodlords, but guys, I'll tell you what a Broodlord is. A Broodlord is a Yamato magnet. It's basically giving Terran the most efficient Yamato shot that they could possibly land. I mean, it's like, you guys know when you go into some of those urinals and they have a little painted picture of a fly for you to aim at so that you don't miss so much because guys are friggin' animals? Well, guess what? A battlecruiser is a guy, when he sees a Broodlord, he's going to drop that Yamato. Man, that's a lot of Corruptors. A few battlecruisers go down, but the ground fight goes terribly for Rogue. Units lost time 6,000 in favor of GUMIHO. GUMIHO denying another base. That's something Rogue can't afford. He doesn't have much gas right now. The Broodlords managed to tickle a few units, but they really need a lot of time to get their work done. The modern Broodlord, not a fantastic late-game unit by any means. It's very weak. Cyclones picking off a few of these drones. Broodlord's doing some good damage as well. And we'll see how we go. Broodlord, battlecruiser, teleporting to the bottom right. Corruptors did get on top. It's not really an escape if those Corruptors can intercept it. Cyclones are here, though. So even though the battlecruiser will go down as the Corruptors get here, gets a hatchery kill, gets a few Overlords. And you can see the Cyclones are going to do some work. He's going to Yamato something before he goes down. So that's 2 Corruptors down. And the Cyclones should be able to take out a third one as well. Zergling's going to clean up those. But it's GUMIHO who's got money in the bank. 2.5k minerals, 1.5k gas. And it's against what? An army of Zergling Corruptor Viper. AKA garbage. Cyclones here. Blinding Clouds come in. There's no ground army, though. There's no ground army to capitalize. Rogue, he's got a few Lings and a couple Lurkers. I mean, the Lurkers do burrow. Lovely Blinding Clouds, to be fair. Corruptors overwhelm the lack of a ground army, then realize they don't shoot down. Cyclone's going to cause some problems. A couple of Broodlords will poke forward, being able to deal with the tanks. Rogue here doing a very good job of fighting from a very desperate position. GUMIHO with the mech boys. He's building 3 Ravens at a time right now, guys. He's like, that's what I need to counter this army, Ravens. That is the exact opposite of what my instinct would always be in this scenario, but it goes to show GUMIHO actually knows how to play mech, while the rest of us are just peasants dancing in the mud, playing in the mud. He is up in his ivory tower of how to actually play mech like a beast. Nice abducts there into the Lurker range. Hatchery does go down, though. GUMIHO's happy to kill that hatchery yet again. Bottom right base is being retaken, but of course, if we look at the income, you're going to see a nasty story. With that base gone, the gas ahead for GUMIHO, the minerals ahead. And as these last few bases mine out, or if another base goes down, it's going to be desperate. Cyclones get intercepted by the Zergs, but with the Blue Flame Hellion to help, it's not too bad. Trying to pull away from that Broodlord, but the Broodlords shoot very slowly, man. They did not do a lot of damage. Remember, there has been significant Broodling nerfs over the years. So it's definitely a unit that it's a bit faster with its movement speed, a bit better for hit and run tactics, but its core fighting ability with those Broodlings being so nerfed has been massively weakened. You can see how slow the Broodlings are, whereas Broodlings, of course, used to be a much quicker unit that would jump out and sprint to the opponent's units and nibble on their toes as quickly as possible. So what I'm saying is basically they throw a bunch of Quentin Tarantinos at Salma Hayek's. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Cyclone Hellion there hanging out, trying to lock onto those Hydras. We've got some tank Hellbat Cyclone in the north. GUMIHO is just restricting him little by little, slowly removing his space, not fighting into the Lurker Broodlord head on, but picking at the edges. Tank Cyclone moving in from the north. Hydra's trying to pull back. Cyclone Hellion moving in. The Corruptors do get rid of the Ravens. The Hydras actually get a pretty good fight here. I think GUMIHO overextended there. That looked a little bit more like the sort of engagements I'm used to taking in late game with my mech armies. A little bit wasteful. Threw away a bunch of units, and one has to wonder, what do we replace it with? 8 siege tanks! I'd 100% be building Thors in this game, because the Thors deal with the Broodlords very well, and they're just a good, well-rounded unit. But he believes in tank, Viking, Hellbat, Battlecruiser, it seems. Raven on that side going to try to run away as well. Lurkers... Oh, he's already got a pack of Thors, that's why. Okay, yeah. If you've already got 4 Thors, then you're good. Cyclone's going to clean up those Zerglings as well. Overlord finding the base there, and GUMIHO, he's taking the corners. Your move, Rogue. Right now, the problem is, guys, this game, at this point, is being simplified to a game of Connect... what is it? Connect 4? Or, no, not Connect. Tic-Tac-Toe, right? Noughts and crosses, as we used to call it. Essentially, GUMIHO just needs, like, one more piece in the middle, and then he gets the 3 in a row, and he wins. While Rogue's like, well, I'm just trying not to die right now. It's tic-tac-toe, but Rogue doesn't have a win condition, or does he? Lurker Harass is actually really nice. Maybe he can make some magic happen with spellcasters, but no, he's lost all of his Vipers to the Vikings and the Thors and the Ravens. The Thor's coming forward. Hydra Lurker's going to try to defend. The gold base is already gone, man. And look at that. GUMIHO tanks in the south. He had something in the back. I don't know if it was a battlecruiser. Auto turrets going down to try and defend these tanks. Their tanks shelling on the base. Yes, they'll go down. Andlings find the top left. And there's lurkers in 2 of these bases. One of them goes down. That one could go down with a quick scan. Nice move there for GUMIHO. GUMIHO's trying to overwhelm Rogue. Rogue trying to punish him. SCVs don't even stop to repair that. They know this is a silly cause. And oh my god, if Rogue brings this back... Dude... If Rogue brings this game back, GUMIHO is going to actually rage quit StarCraft, dude. He's been so ahead for so long, but as as we've known about mech for a long time, it's hard to finish the game, but the Lurkers are in range of the tanks. The Lurkers do unburrow there. They try to pull back, man. And GUMIHO, just one good fight on this army might work out, but he's got to not bleed into the Lurkers. Oh, the Lurkers try to move forward, but into tank range. There's no blinding clouds. The Hydra's trying to ambush the Thors. They swell forwards and get on top of the Thors are incredibly tanky. 3-3 Thors there against 3-3 Hydra, Lurker, Broodlord. The Corruptors clear the air army. Not that much left on the ground for Rogue. Those tanks, there's too many tanks at the back. There's too many tanks. Rogue finds out about the depth of the siege tanks there the hard way. As his army goes down, and GUMIHO, he manages to avoid the prophecy of winning the first series, losing the rematch. He beats Rogue 2-0 into a very hard-fought 2-1 victory. I guarantee you, his life was flashing before his eyes in the tail end of this game. He thought he might throw it. We always know that mech struggles to finish games. When you're ahead, normally there's very clear ways with most mobile, fast-moving compositions, which most armies are in StarCraft 2, to finish the game. With mech, mech is like playing Age of Empires. It's like you get a massive advantage and you're like, I can deny this resource and take this resource. Whereas StarCraft 2 players aren't used to that. StarCraft 2 players, normally you get a massive advantage, you go win the game, right? If you get but you know, you have to be so slow and methodical with mech and just slowly take resources and look for good fights. And you kind of, it's like you're shepherding your opponent into a corner for such a long time before you actually are able to finish the game. And Rogue did a really good job of avoiding being shepherded. He was like a bunch of sheep who found the patch of horny goatweed and just did not want to get sent back into the paddock that was all fenced off. He wanted to keep on grazing out there and having a bit of a party. And who knows, if he pulled back from this fight and had a base mining, like if he had the bottom right mining and Rogue didn't overcommit to that fight, he might have been able to bring this back. But GUMIHO wins an epic series. GG, well played.